Hey guys, Kevin in this review for Pretty Little Liars, Season 5, Episode 24. I'm a good girl, I am, and oh my god, guys, this episode was amazing. Just wow. The twist at the end of this episode, holy shit, the finale is going to be incredible next week. I mean, next week is the season finale, and this was by far the best episode of the season, and just wow, I can tell the finale is going to be better than this, and just what an amazing, amazing episode. Most of it focused on Allie's murder case, which I loved. And let's get into this episode because it was amazing. It had some amazing stuff that happened, and I definitely want to talk about it. And also changed my views on a few things as well, and I'm going to get into that. But we started with a news report on Allie's murder case, and the prosecution has just announced that a surprise witness um, is in this case now. Now I'm like, who's the surprise witness? Now in court, the surprise witness takes a stand, and it's surprisingly Mona's friend from camp, Leslie Stone. If you remember, that girl claimed that she was friends with Mona, and we saw her briefly one episode, and now she is back. And the liars are watching in shock as she is sworn in and takes the witness stand. And Leslie testifies that she and Mona talked on the phone every day. And 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, she told Leslie that Allie had threatened her and told her that if she didn't keep her mouth shut, she would wind up eating worms. And Leslie adds that she thinks Allie's friends were lying for her and Hannah helped Allie kill Mona. Now, basically, all she's doing is make Mona seem like the victim here. She's playing the victim card, and I definitely feel like she could be a possibility for who killed Mona because, first of all, we have no idea if she's telling the truth. Nobody is saying that she is telling the truth here, okay? No, nobody's really saying that she's telling the truth, and I think that she needs to understand that, not everything she's saying is very believable. In fact, you know, in fact, definitely, I think that she could not even be Mona's friend. She could have been a possible person that was working with A and maybe killed Mona and just trying to, you know, worry the girls. It definitely is a possibility. So Spencer understandably rushes out of the courtroom to call Caleb and warn him that Leslie just threw Hannah under the bus in court, so Hannah will probably get a much longer sentence now than she was prepared for, because her sentence wasn't supposed to be that long, and now it's going to be very long because of what she just did to her. So essentially, she just fucked them over. She fucked every single one of them over, and just wow, I can't believe that that actually happened. That she fucked all of them over, and just that was very surprising. So Spencer basically then meets Toby in this episode. Toby is back, and wow, great to see Toby again, but it is very awkward between them because, of course, Toby, the last time she saw him wasn't on good terms, and so much has happened before. She cheated on him like twice, and she runs into Toby in the hallway and demands to know why he hasn't called her after Hannah was arrested. And she's telling about her trip to London, and you can see that Toby really doesn't really want to talk to her right now because, he told her that he wanted to give her space and he didn't want them to really talk as much. And I can understand that, but at the same time, he should have been at least, he should have kept her updated because she had no idea where he was. And he kind of just slipped her mind. I mean, she's focused on Johnny, and she got so close with Johnny that I definitely am looking forward to seeing, and I hope this happens, a Toby and Johnny scene. I want to see these two meet because I think that could definitely be very interesting. So Emily rushes out and tells her to get back in there, and Leslie's testimony is getting worse. So after court, Emily, Spencer, and Aria, they have a conference call with Allie and Hannah in court. They have no idea what to do at this point because they were just fucked over by Leslie, and they have no idea what they can do now. So they're running out of time. And Allie's about to get convicted of murder, and the Varjak trail went cold. And Allie says there's one more possible way to get her off. She might have an alibi. When Mona was killed, she was sitting at the park waiting to meet Cyrus, and she heard someone in the park and saw their jacket. Now, if the liars can find that person, they will be able to prove that she didn't kill Mona. So they actually do have some evidence there. If they can find who that is, they might be able to get Allie out of this, which they're desperate. So they need to this is like their last hope right now. They need something to get them to, they need something to get her, innocent, and this is the only way to do that. And I love how determined they all are. This is something I just love, is that they're not letting anything stop them. They're doing whatever they can to make sure that she is innocent, and I love that. Now, of course, Allie claims she didn't see anyone there, but she just feels like there was some other presence and that she was being followed. And it's kind of creepy, but that's what's going on there. So, because of what just happened, Arya wants her brother Mike that he could get called to testify at Mona's, and I can understand that because I mean he was close to Mona, he was working with Mona, and Mona wanted him to turn against the liars. So She warns him that he has to keep his mouth shut about A, and he snaps that he's done lying and keeping secrets. And later that night, a package arrives at Ari and Mike's house, and Mike opens the box and finds a huge animal's ton in formulide, and Ari freaks out and tells him that it is from A and a warning about him blabbing in court. Now, what I thought that was trying to show is that A is coming after Mike. Mike is the main target now. Mike is the one that should be afraid now because A is coming after him, and A is gonna make him cut out his tongue. If he testifies, then Mike's gonna have his tongue cut out. So it's really fucked up, but I definitely feel like A would do something like that. So Spencer and Emily head to the park that Allie told them about. They run into this church group that's cleaning up the trash, and the guy's in charge, Matt Buckler. And this guy's very mysterious. He's very creepy, and I kind of feel like he could be working with A. He says that he's never seen anyone else at the park besides himself, and then he just randomly invites into this dinner for this homeless youth group that is putting on. And kind of strange that he just randomly brought that up out of nowhere. I mean, he dropped what they were talking about very quickly, so that right away makes me feel like this guy is very shady. I don't know what it is about him, but he comes across as very shady. He comes across as someone that I definitely can't trust, and I think that definitely he could be definitely a big possibility for who A could be. Am I saying that he's A? No. Is he working with A? Possibly. Really, at this point, anyone's a suspect. Any, character we meet is a suspect, so I like that. So Arya has asked Ezra to sneak Mike out of Rosewood for a few days to get him away from A in the trial, and he reluctantly agrees. He really doesn't want any part of this because he doesn't want to be involved with A, and I can understand that. So at school the next day, Andrew follows Arya around. His feelings are hurt that she asked Ezra for help with her brother Mike, and Arya reassures him that she and Ezra are over and they just have a lot of history and Mike trusts him. And of course, Andrew has no idea what's going on. Andrew's completely out of touch with everything. But there's still a possibility that Andrew could possibly be A, which people are still speculating, and I honestly think is a good theory. He could definitely be A, and definitely feel like that is a huge possibility. Definitely, I think that he is a possibility for A. Definitely. So, Spencer and Emily head to school, and they see this girl from the youth group wearing the jacket that Allie described to them, and she was the person at the park the day that Allie was there. So Emily and Spencer try to talk to this girl, and she freaks out. She sees Ari's mom, Ella, in the hallway, snaps at her, and accuses her of telling Ari and her friends a secret she promised to keep before she storms off. So clearly, Ella and this girl are hiding something for each other, from all the liars. And Emily and Spencer are baffled, and Ari, luckily does confront her mom and demands to know. And I like that they didn't try to figure this out for themselves. I like that she just asked her mom straight up, what was going on there. Because, I mean, that's not every day that that happens. It's not every day that you have this girl that's close to your mom and everything. And it just is really weird how that happened. Definitely. So I like that Ella told her what was going on. She didn't try to hide it from her. She told her straight out that this girl's name is Kendra, and she told her she went to a party and experimented with drugs, and she got so high that she slept in the park to sober up because she didn't want her parents to know. And according to Ella, she never said whether or not she's seen Allie or anyone else in the park. So basically, she's no help to them because she was so high, she has no idea, she has no recollection of anything, and she's no help to them. So that's great. And I understand they're so determined, but like that just sucks for them. I mean, the one person that could possibly help them is a druggie, and she's no help to them whatsoever. So at Spencer's house, she and Emily are trying to figure out how to get Kendra to talk to them, which she's not going to. I mean, she doesn't remember anything, and there's nothing they can really do about that. So while they're brainstorming, there's a knock at Spencer's door, and it's Kendra, and she tells Spencer and Emily that they need to talk, and she got her address from Aria's mom, Ella, and I'm like, okay, maybe she does have some information. So meanwhile in prison, Allie and Hannah are in the laundry room, and I really like this, definitely. They're trying to talk about the girl in the park, and the guards won't give them a second alone, so Hannah slams her hand in the dryer, and Allie burns herself with an iron so that they can both go to the infirmary together. And just seeing these two bond is amazing to see, because a couple episodes ago, they absolutely hate each other and want nothing to do with each other. And you can see that they're really bonding now, and I definitely really like how close this is making them. I think the longer they're going to be in prison, the closer that they're going to get, and I love that, because who was the one person that didn't trust Allie? Hannah. And now Hannah really does trust Allie and is even helping her. They're helping out each other, which I love seeing, and I think it's amazing to watch, and I just really do love their bonding. I think it's very well done. So Allie's lawyer visits her in the infirmary and lectures her about trying to manipulate the system, and then she heads to Spencer's house to meet Kendra. Now, I can understand why she's saying that, but I mean, Allie's not really playing the victim card here. She's telling the truth. She's saying everything that she knows. Because there's a lot of stuff that Allie doesn't know at this point. There's a lot of stuff that's very jumbled, and That's the only reason why it doesn't seem believable, because it's just very jumbled. And she tells Allie's lawyer that she was hiding in the pipe and she heard Allie on the phone and then left, and she left, and she leaves and gets in a car, and Allie's lawyer tells Kendra that she can go home and thanks her for her time. Which is, I mean, it makes sense, because I mean, she's no help to them and she's a useless witness because she was on drugs. And I can understand why she's a useless witness. So this next scene was just, this was huge. Ezra and Mike arrive at the cabin and Caleb is there waiting for them, and they don't know why Caleb's there. He tells Ezra that he is taking Mike back home to testify, and Allie and Hannah need him to clear their names and tell the truth about Mona. So Ezra and Caleb are arguing over whether Mike should go back home and testify or stay at the cabin. Now, me personally, I feel he should just stay away from A, because if he testifies, it could get him killed. Now, I'm calling it now, Mike is going to get killed this season. I think Mike is going to get killed next episode, and just, I could definitely see that happening. So they hear a car drive off, and Ezra and Caleb head outside. Mike is gone. They head in the woods to look for him. Someone begins shooting at them with a bow and arrow, and Ezra and Caleb are able to get away. And a few minutes later, Mike stumbles out of the woods while he's looking around. Someone in a black hoodie attacks him, sprays his eyes with pepper spray, and that was a crazy scene to watch. So Ezra and Caleb make their way out of the woods, and they find Mike tied to a tree with duct tape over his mouth, and Caleb snaps a picture for evidence before they untie him and help him down. So clearly, A is after him. A is trying to torture him from not saying anything and not testifying against, not testifying against Mona. And they clearly are working with Mona. So that was definitely a very creepy scene, and I love that. So Toby visits Spencer at home. He tells her that Tanner is punishing him for being in a relationship with her. And he's done fetching coffee and making copies for her. He graduated from the police academy just like everyone else, and basically he just broke up with her. I mean, I can understand why he's breaking up with her, because he should not be treated differently than anyone else. Just because he is with Spencer does not mean that Tanner should not trust him. And that's really weird that Tanner doesn't want to trust him. I find that very strange, and it's just weird that Tanner doesn't really think that he should be having be in Spencer's life. And why does she really give a shit? That's what I don't understand. Why does she really care? So, in court the next day, Allie's lawyer is desperate, so she puts her on the witness stand, and she proves that Allie can't even throw a grapefruit with her right arm because her elbow was fractured when she was 2 years old and it didn't heal properly. Now, so of course there was no way she could have body slammed Mona and killed her with her bare hands. However, Allie's defense backfires because the opposing lawyer produces a certificate that Allie received in summer camp for her exemplary archery skills. Now, who's to say that she couldn't have done that with her other arm? Because if her one arm wasn't working, she could have done it with her other arm. Maybe there's a part of her arm doesn't work. I can understand that, and that means there's nothing really wrong with her arm. So Arya, Emily, and Spencer then all receive this text message from A while they're singing in court, and it just says "bullseye, bitches." And when it said that, I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but this was just crazy. So Caleb, Ezra, and Mike had rushed back to Rosewood. They try to file a police report with Tanner about over what happened to Mike, but Tanner doesn't want to listen to them. She tells them they have to go back to the country where the crime occurred to file the report. And like, what the fuck, Tanner? Why wouldn't she want the information? I mean, if she's trying to investigate what's going on, why wouldn't she want this information? I kind of feel like Tanner could even be working with A. I don't know. Tanner is very shady now. Tanner seems like a very bad cop, and I don't really trust her now. I'm gonna be honest. I don't trust Tanner. I know it's kind of sort of a stretch, but I think Tanner could also be a possibility for who could be involved in this. And I definitely feel like Tanner is definitely a big possibility here. So I'm interested in seeing what's gonna happen there. So at the end of the episode, the jury leaves court to deliberate, and this was just such a tragic scene, such a tragic way to end the episode, but it was an amazing way to end the episode. So after a brief recess, they return and announce that Allie is guilty in the first degree, and it's so sad to see that she is guilty, but basically, yes, she is guilty, and the courtroom turns into mayhem, and they're all freaking out. They had no idea this was going to happen. Not only does that happen, but Tanner orders the officer with her to arrest Spencer, Emily, and Arya. They fingerprint them and book them, and now all the liars are in jail. And wow, what an amazing episode this was. The finale is going to be amazing because there's a lot going on now. And there's a lot to talk about, definitely. But wow, what an amazing episode. First of all, we have to talk about what's going on with we have to talk about what's going on with Mike. Because Mike, I feel, is going to die. I think Mike is the one that should be in the most, should be the most worried right now and things like that. because he is in danger of dying. Definitely Mike's in danger of dying. I don't see Mike living. I don't see Mike living past this season. I think Mike is the main target on A's hit list right now, and I think Mike should be very worried because I think he is definitely going to die this season. We'll see what happens, but I definitely feel like he is definitely a huge target and someone that I think is going to die. Now, Tanner. Why do I not trust Tanner? I'm going to explain why I don't trust Tanner. Tanner would not give them any information, and that's just kind of strange. I mean, for her to just say, I can't tell you anything, you have to fill out this thing, and then I'll listen to you. I thought that was really interesting that she said that, because why would she just randomly say that out of the blue? That's kind of just shady, and she's a very shady cop now. So I definitely don't trust Tanner with anything she says, and I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. The liar's in jail. Something's gonna happen there. Clearly, A is putting all of them in jail, and something bad's gonna happen. I definitely feel like while they're in jail, all this crazy shit is gonna happen. We'll have to see what happens there, but that's gonna be very interesting to see. Toby and Spencer, I think they're done. I really do. I think Toby and Spencer are done. I think they can't be together anymore. I think basically he broke up with her in this episode. It's sad to see, but I definitely feel like that's what happened. That he broke up with her, and I feel bad for them. But at the same time, I mean, he broke up with her, so I really did feel bad for them. So Allie and Hannah, as I said, I really like seeing Allie and Hannah team up as well. I thought that was very well done. I love seeing these two team up together and fight against, what's going on with them. I definitely enjoyed seeing that. I thought that was really amazing to see. Absolutely love that. And I think the only other thing I'll talk about is the possibility of Kendra. Of course, Kendra's no help for them and everything, so there's nothing they can really do about that. Um, but what is going on with the liars, while they're in jail? We'll have to see what happens there. That's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Now, they're claiming we're going to find out who A is next week. However, if I recall, they didn't say we're going to find out who A is till season 7. So I don't know if they changed that or something, but they're claiming that we're going to find out who A is next week, which I find very interesting if that is true, because they have been telling us that we're not going to find out till later, but now they're saying that we're going to find out that we are going to find out much later, much earlier than anticipated. But overall, guys, was an amazing episode. Absolutely love this episode. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. I thought this was by far the best episode of the season. Absolutely loved it. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of Justified. So I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.